Are you a fine art photographer with a portfolio of inspiring photography that deserves a place on someone's wall but can't make enough sales? Have you tried to sell your work online without much success? If so, you're in the right place. Nigel Merrick here from the Prime Focus Lab, and I've talked to many photographers just like you over the last 10 years about the challenges they've experienced when it comes to selling fine art photography online. One of the obvious problems I hear from photographers is that their sales have dried up or never took off to begin with. Maybe they managed to sell a few prints here and there from their website or through one of the many online outlets such as Etsy or Fine Art America, but the results aren't enough to feel like a serious business. At best, photographers resign themselves to seeing it as simply a sideline income with no high expectations attached to it. At worst, it's a nightmare of hard work with zero sales that causes a lot of stress and worry. If you're like most photographers, I expect your situation falls somewhere between these two extremes. But why does it have to be so hard? After all, everyone tells you how wonderful your work is and how talented you are with a camera. They just won't buy it and hang it on their wall for some hard-to-understand reason. To figure out why this happens, we should take an objective look at the selling system. Most photographers follow the same system, probably because it seems like the most obvious thing to do. They build a website with galleries, slideshows, and image pages where people can see their work and order prints in various sizes and finishes or purchase other related products. It certainly sounds reasonable enough, and it's easy to think it's the best strategy, as shown by the abundance of template-based websites designed for e-commerce, such as those offered by Zenfolio, SmugMug, or PhotoShelter, for example. All of those make good sales platforms, by the way. There's nothing wrong with them, and you could see consistent sales with any of them. But it fails to work for the vast majority of photographers. We could blame the market, the high level of competition, or that people simply don't place the same value on fine art photography that they once did. Maybe there's some element of truth in those, but it's not the whole picture, far from it. The real problem lies in where the website is in the photographer's marketing system and the role it plays in the overall marketing and sales process. Plus, it's important to understand the dynamics of the fine art photography sales process itself. In real-world brick-and-mortar galleries, people visit because they want to invest in artwork for their home or office. At the very least, they're interested in the type of work represented by the gallery. Usually they'll speak with the gallery owner or sales staff about what they're looking for or what inspires them. They can also learn more about the photographer's story and form an opinion about who they are and why they created the artwork on display. Successful real-world galleries rely on this simple strategy to make more sales, which is why any good gallery owner asks their represented artists for detailed background information, for example, their backstory, motivations, inspirations, and what they aim to express through their work. Typical photography websites, on the other hand, are usually focused on the images rather than on the photographer's story or the stories behind individual images. In reality, selling fine art photography is no different to selling wedding or portrait photography, or any other non-essential or luxury purchase for that matter. It all boils down to building a relationship between the photographer and the buyer. The buyer must first get to know and like the photographer, be inspired by their work, and then feel a connection with the photographer that goes much deeper than just liking the photographs. Opening nights at galleries are great for this because the artist is usually present to meet and converse with potential buyers. Beyond that, the gallery sales staff act as a bridge between the buyer and the photographer. But online is a whole other world, and websites based purely around sales can't hope to build the kinds of relationships needed for consistently good sales. But you can build an online system that mimics the way real-world galleries work. I've broken this process down into 4 strategic steps. Step 1 is to separate the sales process from the relationship building process. If you have a mainly sales-based website already, like those I already mentioned, you can set up a blog and website where you can focus on the non-commercial side of things. The website can hold in-depth articles about the types of subjects or places you like to photograph, but the blog is the real workhorse here. It's where you give people a window into your world as a photographer by sharing images one at a time and the stories that go with them. Talk about the subject, the place, what inspired you to take the image and why it's important to you. Over time, your artist's personality and your story will take shape and build a connection with the people who are interested in your work. By all means, link to where people can buy your prints, but the main focus should be on turning your website visitors into leads you can follow up with. Next, develop an email marketing system to keep the relationships with your buyers alive and growing. Email is widely recognized as one of the most powerful marketing strategies, so don't skip this step. Every page and blog post should have an email sign-up form where visitors can opt into your email list in exchange for an attractive incentive such as a free PDF with the stories behind your 10 favorite or most successful images, for an example. Then each week send your subscribers an email that puts a specific image into the spotlight with a link to the appropriate blog post on your website for that photograph. Step 3. Use your separate sales website, or at least distinctly separated on the same website, to take all the friction out of the sales process. The key here is that buyers will land more often on the sales website when they're interested in purchasing a specific image, because they will have arrived there from a link on your blog, website, or from an email. Because they're likely to be in buying mode at this point, you're far more likely to see a sale as a result. With all the pieces in place, the last step is to promote your relationship building web pages and blog posts through social media, SEO, that's search engine optimization, and paid advertising to attract the right people. The more people you can attract to your website and blog, not the sales website directly, the more people you'll add to your email list, which will then help to grow your fine art photography sales organically over time. I go into this topic in a lot more detail at the Prime Focus Lab, and there's a link below to the full article. You can also get my book, Selling Fine Art Photography, from Amazon as a Kindle ebook or in paperback. You can find out more about that from the website as well. Give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you liked it or you hated it, and click the red button below to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this on photography marketing. Thanks so much for watching. Please do add your own thoughts and comments to the discussion below, and I wish you lots of success in your photography adventures.